When you watch the greats of the game, it's all about short game. It's all about making the putts when you need it. And so, you know, a lot of us can hit shots, but can you make the putt? And so that's the key is making the putts. And the problem is most of these amateurs have a job, so they can't practice as hard as we can. And so, you know, instead of going to the range right before you play, maybe putt a little bit extra and then maybe hit a few chips.
Everybody in their mind, they're trying to hit the ball hard from the top of their swing. And I think with us pros, we're really building that power to the last second. So I try to tell amateurs, make the fastest part of your swing a foot past the ball in your mind. Really feel like the way you're accelerating the most in your mind is past the ball. But obviously, the way our brains work, we're always going to get quick at the ball. But a lot of us get quick from the top, and that's where you see a lot of amateurs throw the club over the top, and then they kind of hit that big slice. So the more they can be patient, the more they can pull down and then release at the ball, the more straight balls they're going to hit, more than even a little draw.
Well, it's difficult because at the end of the day, obviously the most important thing is to practice. I mean, that's the only way you're going to get better. Obviously, good equipment helps. In this case, for me, TaylorMade and Adidas, they've been my whole career with them. So, but you know, at the end of the day, I think that as little as they can practice, the most important thing is to, you know, try to enjoy it as much as they can when they go out. You know, make sure they have a good time. That way they're a little bit more relaxed. They, you know, they can, you know, they feel a bit more free when they hit. And usually they will play a little bit better. You know, obviously if you put pressure on yourself every time you go out there to try to do well, like some guys do on the pro-ams, which I understand it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but I think that you know, that doesn't help them very much.
Be with people that you like being with. You know, just be with your friends. Give yourself, you know, a break. You know, you're not a professional, and yeah, just have fun with it. You know, rib each other a little bit, and you know, just crack some jokes. And you know, we get a little uptight out here on, you know, people moving around and making noise and stuff like that. And I think it should be the opposite. You know, I think you guys should just have tons of fun with it and play little skin games or whatever it is.
First off is what everybody will say: hit another club, hit an extra club. Because the average everyday player seems to recall the best shot they hit, not how they typically hit it. The next thing I would say is when you're off a green, your purpose should be to chip it onto the green. Not close to the hole, just get onto the green first. So how many times do you see them flub it, miss the green from there, have to chip again? That's a wasted stroke. Same thing kind of with the bunkers. You know, what's your objective? Get out of the bunker, right? You know, and as opposed to worrying about hitting this heroic, pretty spinning shot, just get it out of the bunker up on the putting surface somewhere. And it's amazing how when I've dealt with some pro-am partners, when I've told them, I said, you know, they're 15 yards off the green, I said, let's just try to get it onto the green. All of a sudden they hit it up to 10 feet. Really nice shot, as opposed to the other ones, they're trying to hit it right next to the hole or pitch it in. I'm like, no, you're not spending enough time around the greens to be trying these shots. So let's break it down into a more simple mode and how you can easily save what would probably equate to, I don't know, half a shot every couple holes if they did that. So I think those are the two little things that they should pay attention to.
I mean, you know where I start? I start with, obviously practice is limited for the common amateur. But let's look at it. Let's look at the game of golf. Let's look at your round of golf in a nutshell. You use your putter a lot. Obviously, that's the most important part. So your practice time, whatever practice time that is, 45 minutes an hour, that's the bulk of the time. Use your wedges a bunch. Chipping, potentially full shots, that's in there too. Driver, essentially every other hole, if not more than that. So those three areas, whether wedges, putter, and driver, have to be your area of focus. So when you're on the range, you don't have to hit many 6-irons. It's just not necessary. Hit some drivers, hit some wedges, hit a lot of putts, and then go play. You know, and outside of that, I mean, obviously getting fitted for your golf clubs. Now that with the technology we have, the knowledge we have, you got to take advantage of that. But I would say it's really focused practice and understanding what your game's all about.